What is up, everybody? We are Better Than Ever, and this is Born Again Better, the Daredevil Watch Along. Today, Joel, we have episode 8, Isle of Joy, which was a impactful episode, a super convoluted episode.
A jam-packed episode.
There's a lot shoved in here. There's a lot to get through, so we will jump right into it. First things first, you get return of Bullseye for the first time since episode 1 when he's put away in jail.
Yeah, it's definitely a welcome return.
Yeah, it's nice to see him, especially after the Muse death and everything. Like, okay, we figured somebody was going to come back, or somebody else was going to kind of take that villain role after they killed Muse. Mm-hmm. So he comes in and he's sent to Gen Pop, and for him, he's obviously panicking. He's just like, well, I'm protected, I shouldn't be in Gen Pop. And he's being sent there because somebody's hoping he fucking dies in jail.
Yeah. It's even to the point that they completely have his hands covered and shackled and the whole nine, so...
Yeah, like they're sending him to Gen Pop with his hands tied, like, and you see, like, he gets put in there, and all these guys are just looking at him, like, ready to beat his ass. Like, he's not safe. He's not going to be safe. But he wasn't going to last there alone. The episode cuts to Heather confronting Matt again, and her kind of downplaying Daredevil being a vigilante after what happened. Like, she has a kind of a moment where she's just like, "I killed him. Like, I can't believe I killed him." Blah blah blah. Like,
yeah,
it's obviously is traumatic, and then she's kind of saying like, "Oh, I'm no better than Daredevil. I'm no better than Muse. Like, I killed somebody." And Matt's just like, "Whoa, like, hold on, Daredevil's not such a bad guy, you know?"
Yeah. I'm like, I know the guy. He's a pretty good guy, if you ask me. Some say he's the best. Full campaign for Daredevil. Yeah. He's like,
he's a good guy, yeah.
But even then, you have moments where her, like, Matt's trying to defend Daredevil. Daredevil, you said Daredevil was there to save you, and he clearly saved your life, and so on and so forth. She's like, "No, I saved my own life." Shut the hell up, Heather. Like, you ain't saved shit.
Yeah.
Daredevil put a fucking spike through this guy's shoulder for you.
Yeah, and she even says like, "Oh, like, you weren't there," and Matt's just like, "You're not wrong.
I wasn't there."
Yeah, craziest thing. Yeah, like, how do you know you weren't there? He's like,
I only happen to know several of the details because you happen to mention them in your sleep.
Craziest thing. I have bruises where Muse punched Daredevil. That's crazy. What a coincidence.
Yeah, I have a complete black eye for reasons that you don't understand.
Remember when Daredevil took that punch to the right eye? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I must go to sleep with these glasses on, and you don't know.
It was insane. Like, she's also, like, again, kind of going into him like, okay, you're not who you used to be. Like, clearly something's going on. And, like, on the flip side of this, Vanessa and Fisk are also having a moment where Fisk is taking her down to his secret lair. Okay, and like they walk past the big painting that he had in the previous series, which was a big deal, and they walk right past it, which I thought was kind of funny. Like, it was a huge deal, and they ignore it basically. And then Fisk shows Vanessa that, hey, I've had Adam captured here for months. Like, it's just a little fucking crazy.
Vanessa, I've had him here for a month, and without him, I can't have you and her. Yeah. She's just like, oh my god, I can't believe she's done this. Yeah,
she's completely shocked, and she's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? And he kind of gives her the option, like, hey, like, if you're really done with this life, like, if you're really done with the old days, if you really want to move on, like, here's a gun. And without hesitation, like, almost without hesitation, like, she pops him like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. You have this moment here where we're stuck between, okay, is she going to use the key or is she going to use this gun to kill him? Everyone understood that there was no way this guy, Adam, gets out of this alive. There was no shot. Even if she would have used that key to let him out, I think Fisk was going to destroy this man. She has, like, probably the most overkill kill in this whole show.
Bro, it's like the blood splatter, everything. I was like, this is a little OD. Like, 2 shots would have done it.
Yeah.
It's
the first 2 shots would have done it.
Yeah, it was just completely overkill. And then, like, again, like, they were kind of hinting at it leading up to this. Like, okay, like, obviously they had issues in the beginning. They were in like couples therapy and what have you. And now it's them completely, like, being on board with each other and working together now. It's a nice little shift in the dynamic. And then it's also, like, a nice little parallel going on with Matt and Heather, where, like, they're clearly going through a rough patch, if have you, like, or they're clearly trying to go their separate ways, and like trying to probably gonna break up soon even if this episode didn't play out the way it did. Where you have Fisk and Vanessa like rekindling and like finally working together, combining forces between the crime side of it and like the mayor side of it. Like, this is what they're kind of working towards, and now they're finally at the point where they're hand in hand like together now. Like this is now like one joint operation.
It's a nice, like you said, it's a nice parallel, right? Like the beginning of the season, we had Matt with this new relationship, and it looked very strong, and they were super in love. These two were on the outs, and now we're completely swapping sides. And I think off camera, we've kind of said like this is starting to get towards like this series' namesake, right? Like he's starting to lose it all, like little by little.
No, things are kind of falling apart. He has struggles at work. Like he takes on a case, and Matt's just not having it. He's just like, oh, this guy's full of shit. He's his hearing ability to tell this guy was lying. And he's just like, stop wasting our time. Like he's a client. Like we have to defend him no matter what. And Matt's just not having it. He kind of goes on this.
I mean, Tyrade's kind of like he like legit breaks the whole situation down where he's like, I don't. He's like, this guy's a liar. I don't care. Like, and she's another like his work wife, I guess, is saying like, oh, you're different. You're being different. You're dropping your cases. You're coming in late. You're leaving early. You're coming in like this. Like, it's another person just showing and depicting that he's going through it mentally. You very much like this episode. I have a lot of problems with this episode. And as much as I can say, like, yes, we've seen glimpses of Matt Murdock, like, slowly eroding, right? And then rekindling this Daredevil persona. Like, I don't really feel it. I just feel like Matt's being a dick the whole episode.
Yeah,
it's less about like his character is turning him into this, and after the whole Muse thing, and like, but like everything never felt so egregious or so strong that I felt like Matt was gonna become this. No,
it honestly a little shocking, I guess. The way he's kind of lashing on everybody. Like, I know he's super distracted. Like the whole, I think since episode 1 when Fisk was elected, he's kind of been like this, where he just like look at the bigger picture and everything in between is falling through the cracks for him. He like needs a moment. He leaves and he goes to the bar, Josie's, where Foggy was killed. He mentioned to me before, like, this lady's just sitting in the bar and sees him through the window.
Yes. So this is another thing I have a huge issue with, right? So he goes to Josie's, which is one thing, right? It's the scene of the crime. It's where this all began. I kind of understand that from a mental point of view, but he goes in front. It's clearly closed. There's newspaper all over the windows. There's no way to see in. But Josie is apparently standing outside this bar. The second Matt turns around to walk away, she's like, "Oh, aren't you gonna come in? Like,
come in,
it's
have a
closed.
drink.
Why the hell would he fucking come in?" But neither here nor there. He comes in, has a conversation with Josie. Of course, as he's having a conversation with Josie, Cherry comes out of nowhere, and he's been following Matt Murdock, who has super hearing. On his ability, he would have definitely known this man was following him.
Unless he knew and just didn't care.
Yeah, and they talk inside this bar, and they're all having a conversation. Cool. Josie brings up this random fact that he was drinking this one specific drink that Matt knows that he like only drank if he was celebrating something.
Yeah.
Everything, like all these small details from all the way from episode 1.
Yeah.
Now are randomly shoehorned into this episode 8 that we've had no connection to from 8 to 1. Like, I understand that the show has been aggressively rewritten. Like, I understand that they wrote episode 1, episodes 2 through 7 were all the old episodes that were from the initial like run of this.
Yeah.
And they were Frankensteining it all together to try to like maneuver it to a functional point. But I would almost have preferred this to fully have been scrapped in the middle here. Like,
you know what's funny too? Like, obviously things played out a certain way. Like, certain characters had certain motives like that they didn't have since episode 1. But like, I feel like this episode also could have taken place right after episode 1.
Yes.
If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Where like it almost felt like 7 episodes of fluff. It's a super convoluted way to get to this point.
Like, I almost wish that they took the rewrites, made episode 1 through 6, like all of those episodes, and they somehow Frankenstein that story together, and then they started episode 1 as episode 7.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
So then we had 7, 8, and 9 with the new tone.
Yeah.
We went with this like kind of like grittier like tone in episode 1 that was super stylized in a certain way. Then we had episodes 2 through 7 that were like not the same show, and everyone could tell. Like, it was like episodes probably from the second part of the season to the first part of the season that were now like Frankenstein mushed together to make the story somewhat work in this convoluted sense. Like, where Muse felt underused, where White Tiger felt underutilized, Angela felt underutilized. The Love Line story, like that felt weird. Like, everything just felt strange.
Yeah.
So now that we get to episode 8, okay, remember all these random details from episode 1? Let's make them all matter right now.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that too, because there's also some cinematography choices that did a lot in episode 1 that I complained about, like all the constant like random like zooms in and out, and like you haven't really seen them a lot until this episode where they did it like 4 times.
And the specific choices with like color and stuff. And
yeah,
we'll get to the end of this episode where they start to show how Bullseye, when he's locking in, everything's in blue. When he's using his abilities, blue. When Daredevil's using his stuff, red. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot more color choices, but it just feels out of place because we haven't seen them
since episode 1. Yeah,
and it's driving me insane. And because this episode feels so thematically different, and it is a better episode in the grand scheme of things, it makes me hate the show so much more.
It didn't have to take this long to get here, and then we finally did, and it's shoving so much down our throats.
Like, this could have been 4 episodes.
No, this was a big complaint of like episodes like 6 and 7. Like, it was just so much happening, and it's like at the end, like it did not matter. Like the Muse death, like again, it obviously has bigger implications with like Heather having some kind of internal struggle. But again, it's also kind of downplayed immediately because it turns into a whole conversation about her not really trusting Daredevil and vigilantes in general. You know what I mean?
For reasons we just don't really understand. Like,
all these little things are coming out of these huge moments that feel so inconsequential right now.
Yeah, with everything else, like we're going down the list of the story. Like right now, we're in the bar with Josie. Like, that conversation feels like it's just rehashing something from the first episode, like, randomly. Then we move on to, you know, us believing that Fisk was the reason why Foggy was killed, which everyone kind of felt like that way to begin with. I think to some degree. Yeah,
they definitely hint towards that. Like, finally later on, that's not the case, but they have a hint towards it where they're just like holy shit, like Fisk had Foggy killed, which is a big deal because then you're thinking like, oh, Matt's really gonna fucking kill him now.
Yeah.
It doesn't play out that way. Again, like they kind of teasing you a little bit, which I do like. They were kind of going back and forth, and they're like, oh wow, this is a huge deal. I can't wait to see how this plays out. But then the episode like progresses. When Bullseye gets put in the Gen Pop, he requests an interview or meeting with Matt Murdock,
which he only foresees he only goes through with because this whole alcoholic beverage situation.
Yes,
he's realizing that Foggy knew something. He was celebrating his victory already. So clearly he knew something enough for Fisk to want him dead. Yeah, so
Matt only accepted it because he wants answers.
Yeah.
And that scene, the interview scene, was incredible. I loved it. I thought it was so good.
That's probably the best scene of the whole show so far.
It was so gritty. It was so dark. If the conversation felt so real. And Matt's like want answers. Bullseye's not having it. Poindexter is also just not having it. He kind of flips the script and was like, well, if things were different, you would have been defending me because you're the good guy. That's what good guys do. And like again, it could have happened in a different world, different place. Like him trying to defend like Bullseye in court, you know, and like okay, like, you're a hero, vigilante, whatever. And he doesn't really get the answers he wants. Matt loses his fucking mind, smashes Bullseye's face against the desk 3 or 4 times. You also brought up, doesn't really quite make sense when immediately Matt's just like, oh, guard, he's doing it to himself.
Yeah, which in any situation like that, there'd be so many cameras in that room that would say that Matt Murdock was lying. And then that would be nipped completely in the bud, like right then and there. It would have been like, okay, this lawyer came in and started smashing Poindexter's head against the freaking table.
Yeah.
You know, let's suspend disbelief a little bit that there was no cameras in there, and that's why it happened.
Yeah.
You know, but we still end up having the scene where, like, Matt Murdock basically just snaps and tells him, fuck you, like, get out of my face, essentially. And Poindexter goes away, but Poindexter's clearly laughing because one of his teeth is now loosened, and he's eventually going to use that. But we'll see that down the line. Yeah, and the episode moves on. Daniel, because Fisk was very proud of how Daniel handled the whole BB thing with them like flipping the narrative and making sure that like, oh no, it was the police who killed Muse and not Daredevil. Like Daniel really using like some leverage against BB, like
you gotta flip the narrative. You gotta change the agenda. Like this is how we want it. This is how it should be. And Daniel gets promoted to deputy mayor of communications, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, which him like having like the connection with BB and everything like is definitely a big part of that. With him like having some kind of outlet to the common people of New York. You know what I mean? Like you see all the BB interviews, like all these people like doing street interviews. Like these are the common folk of New York and what's really going on and how the city feels in that moment, which we also haven't seen in a few episodes. You know, I love like the BB report. We kind of knew this from the beginning. Like Daniel is like a little shady. Like he finally like weasels his way in to where he wanted to be, and like immediately he's just like, oh, I'll do anything for you, sir. I'll kill for you. I'll burn for you. Like do whatever you want. Like on his knees for Fisk. And we knew this was going to happen. We knew Daniel had something up his sleeve, and he's finally here. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. Like I can't wait to see like what his ultimate goal is with this.
I'm very intrigued by his storyline. He's one of the one storylines that felt cohesive this whole time. But I'm very intrigued by who he's in cahoots with. Yeah. Like what's his reasoning for doing this? And I'm hoping they pay it off eventually. Like he's clearly in bed with somebody that's not Fisk. Like he's trying to get to Fisk somehow. Like maybe Fisk killed someone in his lineage. Maybe it's this dumb Benny guy. Like maybe it's something like that. Like some mob storyline somewhere where he's trying to get Fisk and screw him into the ground.
I think that too. I think he wants like revenge for something. And like again, could just be some random goon that Fisk had killed, and to Fisk it's nobody, but for him it could have been his father, his brother, or whatever. Like we don't know, and Fisk is like letting this guy get super close, and I can't help but feel like that. I don't see how else it plays out where it's not Daniel trying to get revenge for something. Like why else would we try to get this close to Fisk?
Yeah, he's gonna pull the rug out from underneath him somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah. And then the episode progresses. There's finally the black and white ball, whatever it's called, and again, it's a huge big event. All like the rich people are there, and Fisk and Vanessa walk in, make a big deal of it, spotlight on them and everything. And Fisk comes out in this like all white suit, looking like LeBron in the 2003 draft, looking insane. And you finally see him like in that white suit again. Like he's obviously wearing like the navy blue suits, the black suits, like for being mayor, and like no, he's back in the all white suit. Also, I feel like they made him look a little fatter than he was.
Yeah, they made him look bigger in general, taller.
Yeah, they gave him like a nice big belly like sticking out of the suit, which we haven't seen. Like the actor himself has just lost weight, and like they also like allude to that earlier in the season where like the suits don't fit like they used to. So like him slowly turning back into Kingpin, and now that he's like in the white suit, he's got a big belly, like it made him look taller. There's some scenes where he's talking to Swordsman, for example.
He's like a full foot taller than him.
Yeah, he's like a whole foot taller than him, and then the whole scene like Swordsman's sitting down, and Fisk is standing. So like even cinematically, like the way it's positioned, like the angle, like it shows you like Fisk is back, Kingpin is back. Like he's looking down at everybody now. He's back on top, and like his fucking suit button like stretching against his stomach. Like oh no, he's back. He's large and in charge, if you would. And then on the other side of that, when Fisk walks out initially, Vanessa's with him, and Vanessa's in a bright red dress in a black tie event. Okay, everybody's wearing black and white. That's the whole point, and she's wearing red, and it's not even subtle. And you know what I mean? Like the fact that she does not belong with this group of people. Like this is not her scene. This is not her crowd. Like she is completely involved in the crime side of it now. Like I know now, like they are trying to work together, blah blah blah. But like her wearing red, sticking out as much as she did, like tells you all you need to know about her in this setting.
This next bullseye scene, which another scene that is cool, but I have a major issue with.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kind of like go through that a little bit. Like, think about this timeline wise. While they're stepping out during this party, you have Bullseye, who's officially now taking his tooth out of his mouth, spitting it into the eye of this this guard. I don't want to say security guard. It's offensive. This corrections officer, who's by himself with the biggest prisoner they probably have in the jail, which is probably like Rikers Island. I'm going to assume.
Yes.
He has enough time to take his tooth, spit it through this guy's eyes. He has no handcuffs on, no arm shackles while he's getting everything done to him, which would be absurd. There's no other, corrections officer in the vicinity that knows that this one super high priority individual is now one-on-one with a security guard and a doctor, which would make no sense.
He did have shackles. He had shackles on his, I believe it was on his like biceps.
Yeah.
But he was like strapped to the chair, and so when the guard had a key.
Yeah.
So he was able to kill him, grab the key, and unlock himself like through his arms, whatever, and get up and get out.
The one thing that he needs to get free, which would be his hands, are completely free. Just like whatever.
Yep.
Thank God his biceps are down. It's say suspend disbelief a little bit more. So let's say it's all possible. It all happens. Who cares? It's a complete missight. So be it. But he's enough time to kill those 2 people, take that guy's uniform off, put it on, leave the area, walk past every single guard, then walk onto a bus that takes him from this place to, I guess, outside. From there, he's going to go from Rikers Island to, or wherever that bus drops him off at, all the way to Manhattan in full uniform, get into that facility, which he would apparently knows that Fisk is having this gala in a specific place.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Like, timeline-wise, like, this happens right after Fisk and Vanessa walk out, right? How like, that bus ride itself, getting from Rikers like back to mainland, and then getting here in the middle of Manhattan, like that would have taken quite some time.
A long time.
In the middle of this party, and like again, like they like when he does come in later, like it is like them having their first dance, so like it is still relatively early in the party in the gala. It's like timeline does not make sense. Like happens so fast. Like the same thing happened with in the last episode, with like all these cops figuring out like in an hour, not even half-hour span of like figuring out where exactly who Muse is, where Muse is, them getting there like across Manhattan. Like again, like they did it again where they're just like they're trying to shoe in like so much in like a 20-minute half-hour period.
Yeah, it's like the people who wrote this have never been in New York. They don't understand what traffic is.
Like,
they don't understand what, like they think that getting from one end of New York to the other, it takes a minute. Like there's no way he gets from that jail, figures out where Fisk is, stays in uniform, gets into the building in a corrections uniform, not a police uniform, because all the police officers there are from a specific task force. They're not regular cops. Gets past all of them, gets inside, kills somebody, takes his, like, let's backtrack because I've clearly jumped over a lot of things. Now we have this unruly task force because we see this one random journalist, Fisk, having conversations with the super elite in this place.
Yeah, and it was a member of the press disguised as a waiter.
Yeah. He takes a blatant photo with his phone with flash on. He's like,
flash goes off. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Wasn't even subtle about it.
Like, big ass flash. They say, get him. The task force runs after him, and the police commissioner is trying to tell them, stop, don't do this. Which the police commissioner would have way more power than this show is letting on. Neither here nor there. Fisk is all powerful. He's controlling everything.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna charge you with assault. They're like, yeah, that's not assault, brother. But this is. Shh. Puts his hand in the fryer. Like, I'm like, bro, this is all so excessive. Like, unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah. So the police commissioner is like completely in shock. He's just like,
he does nothing about it.
There's still cops. Yeah. He can't do much about it at all. And he's trying to leave, and then BB spots him. Who's at the party? She's talking to Daniel and all this. Like they're rekindling their relationship. And BB comes up to him and is trying to like get some scoops, if you would, for the thing. And she mentions to him like, okay, like I don't always report as BB. Like she clearly has pseudonyms that she used, like a lot of reporters do. And she's trying to get information on Fisk. And like the guy tells her like, Fisk is not who you think he is. Like he mentions like, oh, Fisk was a prime suspect in your uncle's murder. Which is a big deal. That's the whole reason why she's a journalist. And so, like, ARD is kind of hinting that, like, okay, this stuff is starting to get leaked to the press about Fisk being an asshole. Which, how do you not know he was an asshole? Like, he was a huge crime boss. Like,
already was locked up for several things, and apparently he's operated above those things. But still, like, his name will be besmirched everywhere. Exactly. So I think that's what they're hinting towards. They're kind of hinting at like this could be the start of the downfall for his like mayorship. You know what I mean? Like his public image on him might change, and you know you have BB like kind of like working with Daniel, trying to fix the narrative. Like, oh no, the task force killed Muse. They're the ones who did it. They take all the credit, and now she might like, kind of
go back as like under a pseudonym and be like, well, Fisk is an asshole. Like Fisk is guilty of this, and this. Like you could change it. So now you have that kind of battle happening. Which again, will that come back to Daniel in a way? You know what I mean? Because like, oh, like why didn't you take care of this? Like, well, how did you let this happen? Like, was it BB who leaked this? Like, I feel like it's gonna come to a head at one point too.
Yeah, it's definitely not gonna be the next episode. It's probably gonna be next season.
No. Oh yeah, I don't know if they're gonna. Again, the way these episodes are, who knows? They might
Who
squeeze it
knows?
in.
Maybe they wrap this thing up with a bow next episode and fucking
Yeah.
Matt Murdock
So I
becomes
think they
God.
come back. Yeah. And then that's gonna come back to bite Daniel in the ass somehow, somewhat. And then the story progresses, and you find out that, or you think that Fisk wanted Bullseye dead because Buck gets a call from the prison. The guard says to him, "Oh, you wanted updates, blah blah blah," and then Buck immediately was like, "Just tell me he's dead already." So they wanted him dead, and again, you're hinting at, or you're thinking that, okay, Fisk is the one who wanted him dead, and they tell Buck like, "Oh no, he escaped," and it's like a full fucking panic setting in, and then Matt's there. Matt finally shows up. He's late to the party, and while this is all happening, Matt's like piecing it all together. He's like, "No, Fisk was away. It was all Vanessa."
Which how would he have not known Fisk was away anyway?
Doesn't make sense. Like Fisk was incapacitated for a year. Like Vanessa was the one running the operation. It's like, why wouldn't you have figured that out right away when it happened? Like they didn't realize that Bullseye was sent by one of them. Like they just thought Bullseye was coming back for revenge for almost killing him or whatever. And then this huge twist where like, oh, Vanessa had Foggy killed, not Fisk. Vanessa had Foggy killed, not Fisk. Which also kind of leads like, why the hell did she have him Fisk? Like, and Fisk, and then you also find out right away, Fisk has no idea because she's trying to tell him. They're dancing and she's just like trying, like, oh, I need to talk to you, blah blah blah. And then right before, like, she kind of tells him like, oh, like, it was me. Matt breaks up their little dance and confronts her about it immediately. And then so much is happening. The tension is very high because also like, in the middle of all this, Bullseye's in. He's trying to set up his sniper's nest. Like Fisk is dancing with Heather now, and he's like telling her like, oh, like there's a reason why Matt Murdock really likes Daredevil.
Yeah.
Going back to the thing earlier, like, oh, yeah, I know, like he's not just a big fan. And Vanessa and Matt have this conversation. He straight up says like, I know it was you. She tries to get away. He pulls her back, and he's just like, why did you do it? And then before we kind of get answers, what happens, Joel?
Bullseye, the marksman that he is, the guy who can kill someone with half a scissor from half a room away, takes his sniper rifle like he's never seen it before.
Yeah.
Which should be loaded already. He reloads it for reasons I don't understand. He lines it up on Fisk. Like this shot might be, let's say what, 30 yards away. He's fairly close.
Yeah.
No one realizes that this guy killed a guard, stole a sniper rifle, lining Fisk up right now. No one's realizing that he's legit staring at the mayor with this sniper rifle. He then reloads the gun, which Matt Murdock's able to hear, locate where he is, sees he's about to take a shot, and then he has enough time to jump in front of Fisk and get shot in the shoulder. Or they're making it seem like he's shot in the chest, but he's definitely shot in the shoulder. Bullseye doesn't take another shot to kill Fisk.
After finding out what we just found out, I wasn't quite sure who Bullseye was going to shoot, who he was aiming at. So I'm thinking like, okay, is he going to shoot Vanessa? Like that we just found out. Is he going to shoot Matt? Is he going to shoot Fisk? Like, I'm really not sure. I'm thinking like, oh, is Heather going to catch a stray bullet?
Yeah,
you know
I honestly thought Heather was going to die. That was my first.
I thought so too.
I thought he wanted to hurt Daredevil.
Yeah, and it said Matt Murdock jumps in front of Fisk, takes the hit for him. Again, as soon as that bullet enters his chest, it changes everything. But it might not as well because based on the history of the show, you know. Also, real quick, I do want to mention the blood splattered all over Fisk, all over his all-white suit. Thought that looked really cool, but also looks just like the painting he was obsessed with in the previous series. I thought that was just a little callback, a little reference. So the bullet goes in, and my first thought is like, holy shit, he just saved Fisk's life.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking, Matt's going to look like a hero for saving the mayor, and it's going to be a big deal. He's going to be all over the press, blah, blah, blah. No.
There's no cameras in there.
No. They made it a point to show you there's absolutely no press, no phones. Because Matt also says to Heather, I'll take my phone, blah, blah, blah. Heather had her phone in there. It's like, maybe people do have phones. I don't know. But they made a point, okay, there's no press. Like, I can already see them kind of, again, Fisk flipping the narrative, using BB, whatever. Matt Murdock took a straight bullet. He didn't save Fisk's life. So I love that they were just like, oh my God, like, look, Matt took a bullet for Fisk. Like, that's going to be a huge deal, blah, blah, blah. And then within seconds, I realized the show's not going to do that because that's not what the show is.
This is the part where we're getting Matt to legit about to be born again.
Oh, right? Yeah, this is him hitting rock bottom.
He's hitting rock bottom. He's going to lose the girl. He's going to lose his job. He's been shot in a meaningful manner that's clearly going to debilitate him. Like, it's to the point that now he's officially going to have nothing. That's what we're trying to get to. It's unfortunate that we had to watch this all happen in about one episode.
They were hinting at it in previous episodes with him, like, his relationship with Heather getting rocky, him, like, kind of messing up at work and what have you. But, like, this one, they really, like, kind of threw everything out the window. We're like, no, his relationship's done. Like, none of his coworkers trust him. He's being followed by his own coworkers. Like, are you kidding me? And then he gets shot, which, again, they're hinting at, like, he's bleeding out like Foggy was. I enjoyed the episode, I have to say, because, like, it was bold. There was a lot of tension for, like, the first scene where, like, you know, them going back and forth, like Matt and Heather, and then Vanessa and Fisk. Like, I was glued to the screen, and in ways like I wasn't previously in the series. The tension there alone was just like you can cut it with a knife. Yeah. And then, you know, the episode goes on, it goes forward. You find out some big, like, revelations. Where, okay, like, Bullseye's getting out. You find out, oh my God, Fisk had Foggy killed. Like, it wasn't Bullseye operating alone. And then they flip it again, like a little twist. Like, no, it wasn't Fisk. It was Vanessa who had Foggy killed. Again, huge. I love that. It was a big twist. And then, like, the whole dancing scene. Again, tension was just so thick. It was so you could taste it in the air. Like, it was I loved it. It was just so much happening, but it was so much. Like, it was like at a pin drop, anything can go wrong. Yeah. In these moments, and, like, I do like that, and, like, I think this is one of the, if not the best episode. It is still up there with episode 5, but, like, for what it was, like, I did like this one a lot. I really did.
Yeah, I think if I completely suspend disbelief, I just take the episode at face value. Yeah, the episode was very tonally. It was cool to watch. A lot of things that happened. I like the rest of the show, right? Like, a lot of things that were interesting to see, right?
Yes.
A lot of interesting moments. I think for me, where this episode lacks, it's too much in one episode. It's too chaotic. Like, it's too much of me suspending my disbelief to make it a good episode, right? I think that tonally, it makes the season even feel more, like, disjointed. I think it actually makes me hate the show more. Like, I think that I don't mind the episode as much. Like, I think that the episode, if I kept it in a bottle, right, I would be appreciative of the episode. But in the totality of the circumstances, the show itself, miss me, bro. This show's going to do a lot of saving in the last episode to make me reconsider how I feel about the show this season. I think that if they continue to move on with this tone in season 2 of Born Again, I think that in itself will be a victory. The season 1 will be the season that it had to crawl to let season 2 run. Yeah. And that's my victory at this point. That's what I want to see, and that's my hope for this.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think this episode, like, also definitely cements the idea that the show has great moments, but it's not great overall. Yeah. You know, I think, like, this is just, like, a fun moment to fun moment and a lot of mess in between.
Highlight for highlight, this is going to be a great season in that regard, but in a totality of the circumstances, I just think it's not strong enough.
A lot of like side stories, backstories are just, like, gonna be forgotten as soon as the season wraps. Which will be next week. So next week is the finale. So we will absolutely be there. Season finale. We'll talk about the whole season in general and how we feel about it as a package now that it's all completed. Maybe we'll even rank the episodes if you feel like it. But there's a lot of questions to be answered. A lot of
questions that probably aren't going to be answered.
Yeah. I have high hopes, but I think next. I'll play this longer episode too because there's going to be a lot going on, I think. But we will be there and we will be here. So once again, I am Steven. That is Joel. We are better than ever. If you're watching Born Again Better, the Daredevil watch along. Catch you next week for the finale. Peace.